Mohit. Again, that's my full name over there, but I go by Raf, just the first 3 letters of my name. And I'm at Freak Overlord on Twitter. Many people like that handle. I've been at Twitter for about 2.5 years, and just to set a little context, we have been working with Mohit and Thousand Eyes for close to 2 years, so it's been a long journey. We're working together on the product and just making sure that it actually does what we wanted it to do. When I started on Twitter about 2 years ago, we were just moving from the cloud in-house, and there was a lot of challenges associated with that. First of all, Twitter is a software engineering company. We have a tremendous amount of engineers coding and writing a lot of telemetry to collect performance data, using browser navigation API, or even using just good old Boomerang, just getting data that helps you build great applications. That data, however, needs to be aggregated, and it's not readily available because it just needs to be map-reduced and presented in different formats. So what we needed is some internal tools, and more than anything, we needed a tool that could look at the Twitter infrastructure externally and tell us if there were problems. So I have to be honest with you, when I first met Mohit and heard about the product, I was a little skeptical, because I was thinking, well, how could it be different than anything else? There's a lot of products out there that help you monitor infrastructure externally. So I guess I was wrong. There's a lot of sort of special things about Thousand Eyes. Number one, it's very visual. It lets you get to troubleshoot really fast, and it highlights the areas of problems. And it not only helps you visualize the performance of your app externally, but it also highlights the performance of the infrastructure underneath it. So I'm going to walk through some slides. So first and foremost, I said visual. What you see over there at the very top, you see a timeline, and that's the baseline of the performance for the specific metric. And within the timeline, you'll see deviation from norm. You'll see either a dip or peak. At that point, you can click on the dip or peak, and then you'll see the status of your application at that given time. Now, a lot of people will say that the overlaying of the agents on top of the world map, it's kind of tacky, but I don't think it is. It's very significant, especially if you're running a global company and you're running an application that's used globally. Now, the thing that really stands out for me, and there's the next slide that shows this, is Thousand Eyes helps you categorize the problem right there and then on the dashboard. So for instance, from this point, I can see that this is not a DNS problem, it's not a server problem, it's very likely a network problem because my connect and SSL are failing. Okay? So from this view, what I can do when I'm determining it's a network problem, I can dive into the network view, and from the network view, what we'll see is a different visual representation of the infrastructure. And what this actually is the complete layout of all the infrastructure systems leading to my application, which is, I think it's groundbreaking. There isn't too many products like that on the market right now. Now, when you want to troubleshoot, you would just, look at the areas of focus, and then you can determine, hey, there's 2 routers, 25% packet loss affecting some of the agents internationally. At any given time, as you troubleshooting, you can share the entire visual aids that you have with your partner. So you just click share, specify the time window associated with the test you want to share, and then you can just email it to your friends.
Or tweet it.
Now, the entire infrastructure layout is built using TCP trace, and TCP trace, just like trace route inherently, is pretty complicated because the routers and switches have multiple interfaces, and if you were to visualize multiple trace routes in a single plane, it's just a lot of data. So what we can do in the product is aggregate multiple IPs and multiple nodes into one. That's something significant to the operator. So for instance, in this case, what we did, we aggregated a whole bunch of IPs, just the interface IPs really from a router, and right there you see a visualization of how your New York, for instance, router looks like in the big picture. Right? Last but not least, if you ever needed to go a little bit deeper. For instance, it's a pretty common problem for a network engineer to come into work on Monday and someone says, hey, your website was slow. And then the typical answer is, well, okay, the internet might have been slow, right? What you can do, you can drop down into the BGP visualization. It shows the asset that you're specifically tracking and how BGP routing globally might have affected it. So in this specific case, it looks like, we looked at the timeline, there is a deviation. We looked at the specific BGP data and we see that BGP paths changed. It's very possible that an ISP was doing maintenance or there was an issue on the internet. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Mohit.
Cool, thanks, Raf. So, that was great, by the way. I'm going to record this and use it in every sales conversation going forward. So these are some of our other customers who have worked with us over the last few months and sometimes more than a year to help us develop a product. We have several customers that are outside of this set, which are either new or their PR departments just need a whole lot of dating before they can get comfortable to release their logos. We have several customers in Fortune 500. We have 7 of the top 10 SaaS companies as customers. And I was actually starting to count, and I realized when I looked at the Structure speaker list that more than 10 speakers at Structure are actually representing companies that are using ThousandEyes, which is pretty cool. But here's one thing I would like to offer to all those speakers that are going to be on stage, either later today or later sometime tomorrow. If you can give a shout out to ThousandEyes, and if your logo is not here, I'll give you an extra 20% discount on top of whatever we're giving you. So with that, I would like to end the talk. Thank you again for listening to us and being a part of our launch, and we're really excited and hope we can do something for you guys in the future. Thank you so much. Thanks.